Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our Cherwell Mobile webinar. We've got Eric Kruger, a principal consultant here with StrataCom, who will be showing you today the mobile solution that we've built for Cherwell Service Management. We are going to be recording this session, so you'll be able to receive a copy via email within the next day or so once it uploads to our website for recording or for viewing and sharing with others in your organization. If you have questions as we go along, I'd like to invite you to put those into the chat. Eric will pause from time to time throughout the webinar to answer questions, and we'll do an open Q&A at the end as well. For anyone who's maybe unfamiliar with StrataCom, we've been around since 1997. We're an IT service management consulting company. We've partnered with a lot of the big solutions in the market over the years. We joined Cherwell as a partnership in 2012, and we're one of their first partners on. And we've joined Ivanti when they acquired Cherwell about a year ago. We've got a large staff of consultants. Professional services is our bread and butter. But we noticed a few years ago that there were some holes in the Cherwell solution sets, and our customers were looking for solutions to fill those holes. So we decided to dabble into the add-on market. Cherwell Mobile is what you're going to see today. We've also built a Kanban board solution for Cherwell. I think Eric might give a quick glimpse of that towards the end. And soon we'll be rolling out a smart bot. So if you're interested, watch for webinars on that down the road. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Eric. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to put those into the chat. We'll address them as we go, and we'll have a Q&A open at the end as well. All right, Eric, it's all yours. Eric, you are on mute.
Sorry, I had the double mute issue.
Okay,
I'm going to share. Good. Okay, I'm going to share out my screen. I've got a little PowerPoint presentation I'll start with. All right, let me start that up and then I will share out my phone for this mobile demo. Okay, welcome everyone. We're going to be going over the StrataCom mobile client for Cherwell. It was originally developed for Cherwell. We'll be moving into the Ivanti ISM and converged platform in the near future. A little about StrataCom. Laura kind of went over. We can send this PowerPoint out if you want to see it afterwards. So I'm just going to do this short little overview, a slideshow, then a mobile demo. They usually take about a half an hour for me to go through everything. And then I'll kind of show some of the other stuff that is out there, like the Kanban and the Gantt, the SmartBot, which is being released soon. I'll kind of show you what that looks like. And the message cards, actionable message cards. It's a Microsoft product, but we have a way of using those, and I'll show you what those look like. And then we'll have a little wrap up for questions. And if you do put questions in the chat, I will try to pause, and Laura will interrupt me, and I'll answer the question. So if you want to see something or have questions on something, don't be afraid to put a question in the chat. Laura will pick it up, and I can go over it. So I don't really have a canned demo. I just kind of go through kind of the same things for the demo, but I can easily jump outside of that. So a little bit about our mobile client is developed initially for Cherwell after Cherwell kind of dropped their mobile client out of their out of the App Store and went to the adaptive forms. So basically, it's a native mobile client that you can download from the iOS or Android store and allows you to work with Cherwell. So some of the advantages of our mobile client, it's fast. You'll notice a huge speed increase over Cherwell's browser client. It's really easy to use. So it's really simplified interface from Cherwell, really just meant to get your work done, and that's about it. It doesn't have a lot of the other like graphs and charts and search capabilities that the Cherwell client has, but really is meant for people to put tickets into the system and update tickets in the system, close them out, update, add notes, things like that. Completely customizable. So like Cherwell, you know, a lot of products it's really easy to make a mobile app for because the product's static. Cherwell's product is not static. It's a workflow tool that they happen to build ITSM with. So our mobile framework is completely customizable. We have a mobile experience designer. It kind of comes with the out-of-the-box experience for Cherwell, and then either we or you can add in your custom fields, whatever else you want with Cherwell. It's also available in desktop browser, so I'll show that. We call it the Cherwell Skinny Client. It's the same experience that you'll see on the phone. When you see it in the desktop, it'll look a little different because it's responsive, so it'll kind of expand to fit my desktop. But it's the same fast experience, works super fast, really easy. It's great for like teams of users that maybe don't use Cherwell a lot. Maybe they only get a couple tickets a day. They hate logging into the Cherwell client because it takes so long, and they just need to close their tickets or update their tickets. So it's a great option for them. So the mobile experience designer, this is what allows us to design custom mobile experiences for the customer. Now, if you become a customer, you get access to the mobile experience designer too. We do set up our customer sites as part of this service, because this is a service that you buy. You basically rent it from us year to year as a SaaS offering. So you download the native client and you connect to our SaaS offering, which connects to Cherwell. So, but this mobile design experience allows us to completely modify everything. In fact, the screens that you see here, they'll look totally different in the demo I gave, because this is a little bit older. These are some older GIFs, and I've just kind of refreshed the look and feel of this. But everything is customizable, the font size, the color, all the buttons on the home screen, all the action colors. Literally everything we've wired into our mobile experience designer, so you can change. So unlimited branding. Our SaaS solution plugs directly into your Cherwell instance. Doesn't require you to put any maps in or anything to make it work. There is an on-premise solution available. So if you're an on-premise customer and don't want to use our Azure instance of our framework, you can actually install that on an IIS server internally, and then your users can use the mobile client or Combat and really any of our products internally. And the users, they just log in with their existing credentials. So if you're SAML, you log in with your SAML provider. If you're LDAP or Windows login, you just log in with your credentials. I think all of our customers are SAML. We might have one that's using LDAP. And it works for techs as well as customers. So we do have a customer portal piece to this. I might show a little bit of that if we have time. It essentially looks and works exactly like the technician portal, but it's just for customers. And we also have anonymous feature, which allows you to submit tickets for password resets, account unlocks, etc. And we can tie that in with an SMS code where we look them up in Cherwell and send their phone like a 6-digit code as they put in as their password. So if they're locked out of the network and can't get in, they can get into our solution, which communicates on the back end with Cherwell, and actually submit a ticket to unlock their account. So some of the capabilities that we'll see, it's a really easy navigation, so it's super easy to use. All the actions that you kind of have to hunt and peck for around in Cherwell, they're all in one place, easy to get to. It's got some GPS capabilities if you have, say, field techs that need to go out and work, and I've got like work orders that I can show you how the GPS works. And barcode scanning, so you can scan in barcodes and look up assets. And we added pretty recently, like last week, we added a repeatable action. So basically taking our framework action and just allowing it to repeat right after you run it. So really nice for adding like multiple CMDB items at the same time or one after another. So if you get 100 laptops in and they're all the same make and model, you can just basically create one kind of template when you bring it up and then just scan barcode after barcode to add them to the CMDB. I'll show you how that works. I've got a little sheet of printed off barcodes. I'll add them all. And we've got some other niceties that Cherwell doesn't have, like the type ahead with grid preview that you can see over here, where you can type ahead and search. And the type ahead search isn't tied to Cherwell's full text search. We do it our own way, so you don't have to worry if it's in the full text search or not to search it. You can just search it. A little bit about our integration platform. So this is the platform that we built native mobile on. So this sits in Azure, and it does have a backend that allows us to plug into Cherwell. And the other kind of some other products that we have running on this platform, we've got our Kanban boards, our editable Gantt charts. Those are really nice for project management. We do have a drag and drop scheduling calendar. We've got an MS Teams-based SmartBot that's coming out shortly. I'll be able to show you a little bit about what it looks like. Our Skinny client actually has an editable grid. It is editable also in the mobile, but it's not as nice because in order to edit in a grid, you kind of need a little more real estate. So it really works well on a desktop client. And then Microsoft Actionable Message Designer and Postback Endpoint. So it allows you to work with Cherwell tickets inside an email. So great for surveys. That's coming out this week or next week. Finally, we've had it for a while, but Microsoft made some changes, so we've had to go back and make that. But I'll show you what it looks like on the email side. Currently, the integration platform integrates with Cherwell, but we're working with Ivanti to plug this into their ISM, so their what used to be Heat, and then the Converge platform, which will be kind of a new standalone product from Ivanti with a combination of Heat and Cherwell merged together. We're working with them on that. They don't have an API available for that yet. So we're helping them design the API so that it actually works with external products like ours. And then coming up, we're working on connectors for Jira and MS DevOps. That's mostly for our unified Kanban board. So right now we released a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, 3 weeks ago, unified Kanban boards, which allow you to look all in one place at different objects in Cherwell. So you can have a Kanban board with incidents and tasks and change records and project tasks and approvals all in one board. So you can manage everything in one place. And so we're going to pull in like Jira. So you'll be able to look at your Jira, say defects from Jira and your Cherwell incidents or your Ivanti incidents all in one Kanban board. And they'll both be natively plugged into each side. So there's no tickets moving back and forth. We're just directly updating those in each system. So pretty cool stuff. People have been asking for that for a while, and we're finally getting around to creating it. So maybe instead of integrating Jira to Cherwell, you just throw a Kanban board over both, and then you can see both from the same interface. So if you have any questions, you can contact Laura. Her email and phone number are in here. So let me share. I'm actually going to stop sharing my desktop and share out from my phone. One of my friends just had surgery, so I'm going to have to put him on do not disturb. He's still in the hospital, but he's texted me his status. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go into if I can get this to work, our native mobile client. So this is the native mobile client, what it looks like. It's a little dark in I have to put my glasses on too. My phone is too small. So you log in. This is our public demo site. If you want, you can actually download this now from the iOS or Android App Store. Just search for StrataCom. So if you search for StrataCom in the App Store, you'll see our StrataCom native mobile client for Cherwell. You can download it. It will ask for your email address. Pop your email address in there, and it will direct you to this site, which is our public demo site. And you can log in with one of the users at the top. I'm logged in as me, but and multiple people can log in as those users. We handle all the token on the back end, so you won't log each other out or anything. So you can see the mobile interface, primarily just buttons on the home page. This has probably got more buttons than your normal user would see. Most maybe would have 4 buttons, something like that. But I've got a bunch just to kind of show this product and everything it can do. So if we take a look at the buttons, we can see some of the buttons have numbers by them. Some have little pluses. Some have little navigation icons. Anything with a number behind it, that just means that there's a Cherwell query behind there that has run, and it's telling you how many records are back there. So normally customers set that up for my open ticket. So for incidents, you could rename this button My Open Incidents and Requests or My Open Incidents. So to see those, I just tap on the button and it shows me all my incidents in this nice little grid form. So if I'm on an iPad or something and flip it, it would look more like a grid like this. This is what it would look like on a PC. But on a phone, it just kind of converts into this small card format. So we've also got some other queries that we run in here. So if you want to look at my teams open, and you can do it either way. You can have a button for each query, or you can put all the queries under one button. Kind of depends on how your users want to see those records. So you can see also we've got some coloring on the left. We've got some coloring rules. So you can see anything that's in red is going to be high, green is going to be low, and yellow is going to, or orange is going to be medium. So you can do whatever coloring rules you want. I've just kind of done a really simplistic coloring rule there. Now to pick one of these tickets up, you just tap on it, and you get a read-only view of this record. And you can see, I just for this demo, in fact, I colored the labels blue just yesterday. So you can change the coloring of any of the labels, any of the forms or the fields in here. So if we scroll down a little bit, you can see a couple of these are underlined, and that just means they link out to a related record. So for example, Todd Morgan, if I tap on him, I can see his customer contact card. And from here, I can call him or email him right from my phone. And you can see I've just added some buttons on here. Most of these you can either do a button as a relationship or a query. So I believe these are just queries against this customer, but you can look at his open incidents or really anything that you want to from here. Same thing for owned by. You can look at the owned by user information. Typically, that's going to be the user out in the field. And if we scroll down a little bit more, you can see I've got some specifics that have rolled into this form. So we do roll the specifics right in to the view forms. Without, you don't need to create any specifics form for those. But if you do want to create new tickets or edit tickets, we do have to recreate the specifics in the framework. And then we've also got the related records down here. You can see tasks. So those are all the related tasks assigned to me in open tasks. They can be whatever you want. Usually customers will just have the task button to show the tasks related to that incident. I added a couple more just to show that you could have different queries. So that the task button is the task. What is it? Incident owns tasks. The other two are just queries that are running. So they don't even use a relationship to pull back those records. Then if we scroll down a little bit more, we can see the journals are in here. Now you can really show whatever journal records you want. You can just show the notes if you want. You can see I've got some status changes in here, so I'm showing notes and status changes, but that's completely configurable. And then at the bottom, we've got these navigation arrows where you can navigate through the records. And once you go through them once, we cache them all. And so when you go through them again, they're really fast. I don't know what happened there. So then if you want to do anything to this record, we just open up our floating action button. This is where all the actions are, and you can have whatever actions you want. So you can see I've got add a note here. This will actually add a new note to the ticket. And that will show up immediately down here. So you can also have the visible in portal checkbox on there if you want. I think I made this so that these all show up on the portal actually if you add a note. So you can have that as optional, or you can just hard code that in there. If I want to assign this to somebody else, I can just tap on assign to user and then assign it to Josh or someone else. You won't assign it to Cherwell admin. Now, once it's assigned to somebody else, I should get another option down here, take ownership. So that just checks to see if I'm the owner. If I'm not the owner, it shows me the take ownership button. So all these buttons can have conditions on them. If I tap on that, it just asks me, hey, are you sure you want to take ownership? Yes, I do. And now you can see it's owned back by me again. So commonly, out in the field, you're probably going to be adding notes and working your way through the workflow on these. So you can see also that we've got resolve and set pending. And those are just the workflow options that are available for the status of in progress. So I'll run one through new next and show you the whole workflow. And if you do want to take a picture of something like a broken, maybe my tablet's broken, I want to take a picture of it, upload that to Cherwell, and then it'll show up. And you can see any image that you have will kind of show a little thumbnail here that you can see, and then it'll download that. So that becomes available in Cherwell immediately. If somebody else adds an image or a document or something to Cherwell, you'll also see that here. So let me run through. First, Laura, are there any questions people have asked so far?
I have not seen anything yet in the chat.
Okay. So if you have any questions, just feel free to chime in. I'm just going to run through creating a new incident. So that's something else we can do for mobile is just create tickets. So I'm just going to tap the create incident button. This is handy if you're out in the field or in the hallway and somebody says, hey, can you create this ticket for me? Or maybe you're field tech and need to create a ticket for a different tech, or maybe just need to create a ticket for yourself. Because you need to get credit for that. So first thing, I'm just going to look for Emma, and as I start typing, it just starts to look in the customer database for people who match EMM. So Emma's in there, so I'm just going to select her. You can see she's got 103 open tickets because she kind of is my demo gal. So I can look at those tickets if I want to see if any of these are tickets that she's having an issue with right now. If not, I'll just cancel that and create a new one. So I'm just going to create this new ticket. And the nice thing with like the iPhone, it'll do the corrections for you, the spelling corrections. I'm not even going to assign this to anybody. I'm going to pick a subcategory of just submit. So I've got submit incident. You can see I just type submit and it pulls up. And this is our kind of type ahead with grid. So you can add whatever you want to this grid so you can see. So in this case, I've just got service category, subcategory. You know, up here for Emma, when I type in Emma, I've got her department, her phone, her home phone, her email, just really anything to help the tech identify which is the right person, because you might have multiple Emmas in your system. So that's really nice on the phone. I'm going to go back down here to submit. I'm just going to do a email calendaring desktop client ticket. And then we can see down here, I can add a CI. I can either scan it in or search for a CI to attach to this ticket. And then you can see it pulled in the specifics. So these are the specifics for that particular subcategory. So I'm just going to hit OK, create this incident. We'll kind of walk our way through the workflow here. Letting my teams catch up. I'm watching this on my desktop so I can see when it caught up. Okay, so sometimes the screen's a little slow. So now I've got this incident. So this is what the tech will see after they create an incident, you know, all the information about that incident on here. If I want to work on this, I can either take ownership or I can just begin work. I think I've got the take ownership piece tied in here, right? So I've begun work, so it assigned it to my default team and assigned it to me. So now once I've begun work, it's in progress. If I want to set this to pending, I can do that. It'll ask for pending reason. I'll pick not available. It'll set it to pending. So now we can see the status is pending. And now the only status change I have on here is remove pending. So we're just following the Cherwell workflow rules that they've got for statuses. I'll remove that pending status. And now we can see I'm back in progress, and I've got set pending and resolve incident again. So if I want to edit this incident, I've got a bunch of fields that I've put on here that I can edit. You can see somebody threw created date time on there. But I can change the service category, subcategory, really any fields that you want your text to be able to change. We just throw in an edit screen. And then other things like assign, you know, if you have an action in Cherwell, you just want them to be able to do like assign. We just have this screen that pops up. That's really simple, really just allows them to assign it. So that could be anything like, you know, change CI or change customer, you could have as an action instead of like an edit. So if I go to resolve incident, it's just pulling out of my cause codes for the cause code, and I just put in a close description, and then this will be resolved. So now it's resolved, and I can get rid of it and go back to the home screen. Okay, so any questions, Laura?
Nope, still nothing
okay.
in the chat yet.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to jump into work orders. So this is more like work orders for the facilities. So this, you know, work orders is a custom map that you can put in. It's really easy. Any custom fields, any custom objects you have, really easy to drop into our framework and create. a mobile experience for. So I'm just going to look at work orders, and this is, really similar. It's showing the my work orders. This has got a little bit different. You can see it's got a little tap to navigate arrow down in the lower right-hand corner. If I turn this, I can actually see it's got the distance to the site that these are for. So this is a little more for working like out in the field. So I can sort what's the closest. These are all actually pretty close to each other. And then from here, so all it's doing is taking the address and getting a lat long and calculating how far that site is from where I am sitting right now. Then if I want to navigate to this site, I can just tap to navigate, and it brings me up Apple Maps, or it'll bring up your preferred mapping program, what you want to map to. So that's some pretty cool GPS. We can turn on a lot of other GPS, like if you want a tech to check in when they arrive at a site or anything like that, we can turn on. But otherwise, these work orders work pretty much the same as incidents. You can see I've got the lat long and address in there. And you can either pre-populate the lat long, or we can calculate it from the address. As long as your addresses fit, they have to fit certain standard. But if they fit that standard, we can put them in. Otherwise, we put the lat longs in. Usually, like if you have a site, it's best to put the lat long in once in the site, and then we can just copy it into the work order. So, but kind of the same thing. I've got the edit work order where I can change some of the information, like the building name or anything like that. And we've got other things like add a note assigned to a user, set pending, close work order. So really the same thing as incidents, and that's what you'll find in mobile. Everything kind of looks the same and works the same. They're just Cherwell objects with different fields and different actions. And I just want to show approvals too, and then I'll show you some of the searching capabilities in here and some of the scanning. Approvals works the same way. These are my approvals waiting to be approved. Some of the cool things we can do in our framework is that an approval record doesn't have much information on it. So you can see I have most of the information from the approval record in this card. So you can see what the status is, who the approver name is, and what the details are. But if this is for, say, a change record and you want to look at the change information, you can't really do that. It's not really stored in the approval record. So what I've done in this case is I've just merged the change form from mobile into the approval form. So you can see about halfway down where it says parent type name and parent rec ID and change ID. That is where the change ID is where it starts with the change information. So, and you can put whatever information you want from the change on here so that they can approve it. So they can actually look at that, look at the change information, decide if they want to abstain, approve, or deny right here. Now, another way to do that, we do in tasks, and you can choose which way you want. Do you want to merge it in, or do you want to link it out? In tasks, we actually link out to the parent record. So if I'm looking at a task that I've been assigned, in Cherwell, tasks are really kind of sub-objects of incidents or changes or whatever they are. In our mobile framework, we can have them as standalone objects where you can assign them and just look at the task without looking at the parent. So in that case, you might need to look at the parent, and you want to just tap on the parent public ID to look at the actual incident. So if I tap on that incident, it'll pull up that incident, and then I can see all the notes, all the attachments, all the journal entries that are in that incident. So I can go back and I can just kind of toggle back and forth between them. So if I can tap back, and I can tap back into the parent public to see that incident. So really slick. And of course the tasks have actions. You can add photos. You can add photos or uploads to any Cherwell object that supports attachments. I can edit this task. I can really do anything you want. So these actions, they're generally one steps that are already in Cherwell that we're just calling, or they can just be REST actions. We have a little REST action builder. So if you want to do something special, don't want to run a one step, we can do that also. All right, I'm going to jump into the find a record. So how do you find a record in Cherwell? We've given a really easy way to find a record. This has just got a bunch of examples, and you can have a single find a record page, or you can have a find an incident, find a work order, find a change page. But we do support finding any record on this page. So I've just got some common examples of how people are finding records. The first is to search by ticket number. So if you look on here, I've kind of got some hints on what to search for, what's in the database, since this is our public demo. So if I search for 102 in here, you can see it starts to populate with the 102. So if I'm looking for 102.028, it will find that record. So if I happen to know the ticket number, I can easily find it. There's no, I'm just looking in the database. So if it's resolved or closed or new, it doesn't really matter. I can look at it, take a look at it. Now, if I don't know the ticket number, and this is common, somebody might stop you in the hallway and say, hey, can you check the status on this ticket for me? And let's say it's Emma. So if I look for Emma in here, this is just looking for all of Emma's tickets. She's got a lot of tickets. And if I just want to show the open ones, I can show those. So you can see we've got some in progress, some pending, some new in here. If I just want to show the in progress ones, I just tap in progress. So these are just query modifiers that we add to each query. I could add that to incident search also. So each search box in here can have its own modifiers. So you can see all of these are in progress. So, and you can add as many modifiers as you want to the search, and you can take a look at those. So maybe you found her ticket and you can give her what the status is. You can also move that out into description. So really anything. So if I search for print in the description, I can look at everything that's got the word print in it. If I just want to look at the open tickets with the word print, I can do that. So description wouldn't be a typical one you'd probably look at, but I just wanted to put it in there to show how flexible this is. Now also on here, I can look for knowledge articles. So if I just search for a barcode in here, it'll give me all the knowledge articles with the barcode in the title. Now you can search across title, keywords, whatever you want to in your knowledge base. If I look at that, I can see my knowledge article. So you can tie into knowledge articles. I don't have any actions on this knowledge article, so you can see there's no actions on here, but I can scroll through. There's a couple in there that had knowledge articles, so I can scroll through those and look at those. And I can also search for a customer. So if I want to search for like somebody named John, it'll show me all my customers with John in it. So there's John Allard. So I can look at him. It takes me back to that contact card that we looked at before from the incident. And from here, I can email him or call him. I can look at his open incidents, all his open incidents here. I can look at his CIs, any CIs that are associated with him. So really an easy way to find records. You can also look for records in here. So if I look for 102.643, it also searches every field in here. So, but you may not have all the records that you want in this query. So then you can go back and really find any record by ticket number or customer or owned by team, really whatever field you want to look for. All right, let's jump into a little bit of the scanning capabilities in here. This has become pretty pop. Yeah.
We did have a couple of questions we might want to address
Great.
before we move on.
Sure.
Our friend Marcus is also helping to answer those in chat. So thank you,
Oh,
Marcus. But for anyone
thanks,
who's listening in, for anyone who's just listening and can't see the chat, I figured we might as well address them. The first question is, can you add the notes field into the incidents on the mobile?
Add the notes field into the incidents?
Yes.
So notes are a special type of object, right? A journal note. So you can add those. I think that's what I'm adding here when I add a journal, add a note. I'm adding a journal note. Now, if you also have a notes field in incidents, yeah, you could edit that or append to it basically. But yeah, so adding a note to an incident, that's pretty standard. I think our out of the box actually adds a journal record and not a note, because out of the box Cherwell doesn't have a relationship for journal note. So when we implement it, we usually have the customer add a journal note relationship to Cherwell so that you can actually add a note, because that's generally what you want to add when you're in there. But it's kind of a deficiency in Cherwell's out of the box product to work with APIs.
Okay, thanks. The other one that came in is, can you do a time track with a task or when closing the ticket?
Yeah, you can. I don't have that on here. Actually, maybe I do. Let me quick check. I may have it just turned off, or I may have removed it. But you can do, typically an incident out of the box, there is a, yeah, here's track time. Let me just turn this on quick, show what it looks like. I'm just in my mobile experience designer. I am turning on the track time. We have it in the out of the box field, but it is turned off by default because so few customers use it. Now where to go? Oh, maybe I don't have it. I thought I saw it there, but that must. No, I don't have it. Sorry. So yeah, but it would work. It just runs that one-step track time, and it pops up the. So for example, like it does the same thing. Like if I resolve this incident, this is just a one-step, right? So the track time one-step actually has a couple prompts to track you for what you did and how much time it took. You just fill those out here. And it will add that time record to that task to this incident. So it's just running a one-step. So, and anything that you run that's a one-step in Cherwell, we can run out of here really simply.
Thanks, Eric. That's all we have right now.
Okay. I was just going to quick check to see if that one-step was even available on this. See it in here. Yeah, I don't even see that one step in this system. Okay. Yeah, so let's look at some of the barcode scanning. So really simply, you know, the easiest thing to do is just scan something out in the field by serial number and look it up. So I've got like, you know, I'm not in the office, I'm just in my home office. So I've got this pop can that I put in as a Diet Shasta as a computer. So I can scan that and look it up. And then once I'm in here, I can edit this. I can change the status of it. So if I want to change the status to in repair, I can do that. If I want to do something else to it, like edit it, and I can change the status here. You can see I've got the asset tag and serial number are the same. I scanned them in the same. I can give it an owned by team. You know, let's give this to accounting and Claire. I can give it a primary user, give it a description. So I can edit that. Another really popular thing to do is to just create assets with barcode scanning. So really simple to do. Let me just show you one way to do it. So we can create a CI. I'll give it a type config computer. I'll give it a friendly name, my new CI. And then I'm going to scan in an asset tag and serial number. I'm just going to make them the same. And serial number, will scan that in. And I'll hit OK, and then that CI is created. So really easy to create. One thing we also add is the capability of doing that in multiple. So you can see I've got this add multiple CIs on here. What this does, we just we added repeating events to Cherwell. So, or repeating actions. So this create a CI, it's just an action in our framework. We added the ability to repeat that action. So if I had multiple CIs, what you end up doing is kind of filling out this template. So let's say I got 100 iPads in and I want to scan them all in and put it in my CMDB. I don't know what their names are yet. I don't really care. I'm just going to put new iPad as the name for all of them because they don't really have a name yet. I'm just scanning them in. And then I'm going to select the config type. I have iPads in as computers. I know I'm crazy, but so I've got my iPad Pro. So now I have set up my template basically of what I'm going to scan in. And now I just start scanning. So I tap the scan button and I've got my little sheet full of things and we can see I scanned in the first one. I hit OK. And then one nice thing we added is the scan, if the scan button is the first button on the field that's not sticky or what we call sticky or templatable, we just have the scan button pop up. So then I just scan another one. And then I hit OK. And then it adds that one to the CI. And you can see my little green added CIs. And then I scan. Sorry, this paper printout isn't the best of these. But so you can see I'm just keep adding more and more CIs to my database. So, and it just keeps coming back up. So then if I cancel out of here, you can see this is my template that I'm adding for. And I could keep going. You know, that scan just keeps popping up every time because it's the first field in there. If you don't have it as the first non-sticky field, you'll have to tap scan every time. But if it's the first non-sticky field on the form, we call them sticky, it'll go in. So yeah, you can see that serial number, the scan in. So now I have all those devices. So And we can also find a CI. So if we can go in here, if we know who the owned by is, we can search by owned by or friendly name. So if I search by Shasta, there's my Diet Shasta one. I could go in there and edit that. So that's a really cool feature, really nice. A lot of customers like that barcode scanning because they're out in the field and they maybe are attaching it, CIs to incidents, or just managing their CMDB, and you can do that with mobile pretty easily. So, okay, I am going to jump out of here. As I can see, we only have 20 minutes left. I'm going to stop
Hey,
sharing
Eric,
on my, yeah.
I want to ask if this will work with CAM.
Right now, we do not have a plugin for CAM specifically. So if you're moving the CAM data into Cherwell, that will work. But if you're trying to look something up in CAM, we don't have a plugin for CAM right now. We may have one in the future. It's not the most popular product. I mean, there's a bunch of people out there using it, but almost all the customers using CAM are pushing the CAM data into Cherwell and working with it there. So that's probably the best place to work with it. So I probably don't see us supporting CAM in the near future unless somebody said, we'll buy your product if you support CAM. Then we could probably do it. Other than that, we're probably not going to just put CAM support in there.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So I just wanted to show this. We call it the skinny client or the web client. You'll see it looks the exact same as the native mobile client, but you can log in with your Cherwell credentials or your SAML login, however you want to do that. You can get logged into here. You can take a look at your incidents. You get the same view as mobile. We kind of have this same read-only. It is actually possible to make this an edit screen when it first pops up if you're not in mobile, but I don't have that turned on. So here you can edit incident, you can edit it, you can do all the actions. Everything works exactly the same as it does in the mobile client. And one kind of neat thing we can do is we can actually turn this grid into an editable grid. So for example, here, I'm going to throw, let's do this. My team's open incidents and SRs. I'm going to throw owned by team on here. So my team's open incidents and SRs. This is our mobile experience designer. It allows us to design custom experiences for mobile. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a little change to this. I'm going to add owned by team into here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make owned by team and owned by editable in this grid. I'm going to add owned by team. I'm going to move it up here and we'll put owned by here. Actually, status up here. All right, so I'm going to save this. Let's just go look back. We'll see those new fields in here. All right, so now I've got owned by team and owned by in my grid. If I come back to incidents, and if I just go down here and check these and make these editable in the grid, I can see. I can see if I refresh here. Now, if I go in to here, you can see they're editable. So right now they're just text fields. But I'm actually going to make these drop downs and make them editable with drop downs because I'm going to use just like they work in the mobile client where you pick your teams. So I'm just going to go in here to my teams. I'm going to just go in here. I'm going to change this to a list picker. I'm going to choose the team picker here, team picker, and give it the setter field. And then owned by, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a list picker. I'm going to choose the team members picker and we'll use the public ID. And then I'm just going to add a filter on here just to filter down. So team name and that picker is going to equal owned by team here. So, right. So then now I've got that set up. And actually, in order to select, once you're editable, you should, in order to like select a field, we need to select like a linkable field there. So I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to go into here. And now I've got owned by team. So now I can actually change this to second level support. And then I can change the owned by here. And I can just go down and I can edit these and I can change all these third level support. And you can see, you can change these. And you can do this with any grid in here. You can do it with any field. You can have it a drop down. I could make priority. Now, if I want to click on here and look at it, I click on the link because it doesn't actually know what fields are. Because it thinks all the fields might be editable. So now we have a link on there where I can go in and look. So But that editable grid, really easy to turn on. I use it all the time for demo data because I can go in and change a bunch of demo data like super fast in here. So instead of writing a one step to do it, I just throw it in an editable grid and do that. So that's something really cool with the Skinny client that you can do. Like I said, it also works on an iPhone, like an iPad. It works in the native client. Just like on an iPhone, it's a little kludgy because there isn't that much space, so it's kind of hard to tap around in there. On an iPad, it works great because they've got the grid. Same thing, create incident. You know, you can see the type ahead, how that works here. I can pick a team if I want, or I don't have to. If I want to submit the incident, you can see all the submit incidents that I've got here. I can select which one I want, or I could put like desktop client, something like that. And you can see this fills in automatically. So, and here I've got my specific. So it works just like it does in the mobile client, except you've got it on a desktop and it works a little better. So now once you kind of move into this desktop experience, you get access. There's other products that we've got that work on desktop, like our Kanban boards. So if I look at, say, my open incidents and requests, I can see all of my open incidents and requests, and I can move these around. And these basically work, they should look familiar because these are the same actions that we've got in mobile. So like here's adding a note to an incident. If I want to look at that incident, I can just click on the little hamburger and it brings up that same screen that we've got for mobile. The difference is here I can drag and drop this to assigned and it'll assign it to me. I can drag it in progress, sets it in progress. If I drag it to pending, now this is interesting because I get a pop-up on the Kanban board asking me what the pending reason is. So it's a little bit different than, you know, the Skinny client where you're setting the status. Here you're setting it by dragging and dropping it, and then you're prompting the user for. So if I set it to resolved, I can't set it to resolved because I need to go back to in progress and then to resolved because that's following the workflow. So then I can resolve it from here. So we can do this. This is my open incidents and requests. I've also got like my open tasks. So I can have a board for all my open tasks. So we can see I can move these through its paces. I've also got, say, my team's open incidents and requests. So this will show a lot more. It'll show all the incidents open to my team. And there's a lot, like you can see there's a lot. We'll see so we can assign it really to anybody on the team here. So if I want to assign this to Henry, I can do that. If I want to change the assignment here, and you can do some cool stuff with these. So like if I'm managing a team, I can go here and I can have the members of the team as the header. And then I can assign like that. So I can assign it from one person to another, or I can assign all Andrews to Bryce's, or I can kind of, Andrew, you need some tickets to work on. So, and as these are dragged over, they'll actually change live. If somebody else drags one over, you'll see it pop up onto your screen live. So one thing we added just recently, we added these unified boards. So if I've got my team's tickets, or let's look at my tickets. So the my tickets is actually a combo board of incidents and tasks. So I can see this is a task. That's the object, incident. Task. If I'm looking for, here's an incident. We've also got these tags that make, you can search by tags. So everything on here, you can see I've got approvals, incidents, and tasks. If I just want to see my tasks, boom, I just choose tasks, and here's my tasks. Now, an interesting thing is I've got approvals on here, right? So I've got some approvals in here. Now, if I try to assign an approval, I get this message, hey, signed is not valid for approvals. Because approvals, I can really approve or deny, right? So I can approve an approval or I can deny it, and that's it. It doesn't allow me to drag to any other columns. If I get rid of this, if I try to approve a task, I get a message I can't do that because it's not mapped to approve. So you can work with those different things. If I go to my team's tickets, there's a lot more tickets in here. You can tell sometimes when it first draws, when these pop up, it's got all the information it needs. So I can go in here, and if I just want to pull out a few people's, like if I want to pull out mine and Emma's and Henry's, I can do that. And then if I just want to look at the incidents for us three, I can do that. Or maybe just the tasks. But you can see I've got all the tasks and the incidents on here. And this is really like pretty unlimited, the number of boards you can combine to make these, we call them unified boards. So you could have incidents, tasks, projects, tasks, changes, problems, problem tasks, whatever objects you're working on, you can have all on the same board. And one nice thing for like my team's tickets, as these are moved around, you can move the order of them and kind of prioritize how those work. So yeah, so that's that. We also have shoot, I don't have the buttons here. Let me turn that button back on. This is a little more of our mobile experience designer. I'm just going to turn this button back on. I just added another button here, this desktop, because I've got these kind of linked. So we've also got this Gantt chart. So, you know, Gantt is common for like ITPT. So ITPT, PPM. Oh, there we go. So there's some tasks for this ITPT project. There's a bunch of them on here. Actually, I kind of open all these up. So we can see this is an editable Gantt. So it allows us to go in here and edit these tasks, you know, just like we can edit them from mobile. We can move these around. So if I say, hey, you know, I really need to move this task to start a little bit later, I can do that. Or if I need to relate them, I can do that. And this editable Gantt works really for any object in Cherwell. So here's a change Gantt. So this is a change record with tasks associated with it. Come on, tasks. Let's look at this incident one. Yeah, this incident's got some tasks. So this incident actually has tasks. So we support kind of the linking of these tasks together. We can turn auto scheduling on, which just means that, hey, if I move this parent task to here, it bumps all these other tasks, you know, it auto schedules them because I have this relationship here. And then like if I move this one out, you can see that kind of that parent task moves with it. So you can add tasks from here. So if I needed to add another task, I could add it from here. You know, pretty fully functional, just works like a Gantt that you would expect, but you're editing Cherwell tickets live in the system as you play with this. And we've also got this calendar. I might have to go back a little ways to show some events. Calendar also is multi-object. Let me go back even like to 2020. Here we go. So you can see this has got changes, ITT projects, and tasks on it. So, and these are drag and droppable. You can drag and drop these around. If I look at the date here, I can move this around to a different day if I want. So pretty nice. You can drag and drop these. Nice for scheduling, doing different things like that. So so another thing that we've got. Okay, so we've got about 5 minutes left scheduled in this. Laura, is there any other questions that popped up during this kind of skinny client Gantt Kanban demo?
There are a couple.
Okay.
It looks like Steve was answering them in chat, but there may be a few people who cannot see the chat. So I think it's worth addressing. There was a question around licensing. Does the skinny client and mobile consume a Cherwell user license? So why don't we review the license consumption?
Yep. Yeah, so this is licensed. We do license it to our customers by the number of Cherwell seats they own. So first off, you know, it's licensed kind of the same way Cherwell is. Second, it does use a license. So if you're in the skinny client or the mobile client, it does use a license. Now, it does not use an additional license. So if you've only got, if you're logged into, say, the Cherwell Windows client and the mobile client and the skinny client all at the same time, you still only use one license. But it does use a license. The portal does not. The portal uses a service account, so it does use one license total. But the portal is kind of licenseless. But the tech clients do. So, but because a lot of people may have more usage because of mobile and Kanban, we actually have our own timeout settings. So if I go and look at my admin tool on my security, you can see I'm logging inactive users out after 2 hours. So we can log inactive users out from our side. We log them out of Cherwell if they've been inactive for X amount of hours, and that can be 0.25 hours or can be any amount of hours. But it does use a license, and we can try to help you manage your licenses by logging out like your mobile users earlier. And for most of them, they don't care because if you're using SAML, as soon as you get logged out, as soon as you reopen the app, you just get logged right back in again. So it's not really a burden to log back into the mobile client.
Okay, Thanks. We have one more question that has been answered in chat, but it's worth mentioning to everybody. So we are approaching the top of the hour. So if you have any other questions, please put those in the chat right now while we work on answering this last question. We'll do one more look in a few minutes here for any final questions you have. Eric, the question is, can a field tech be notified somehow if a priority one or a VIP ticket is assigned on their queue?
Yeah, we do have a couple options for notifications. So the most common our customers are using are just an email. They're sending emails out. We do support push notifications. So we have our own push engine. It is an API call from Cherwell out to our framework. So you do have to put a little web service call in to actually call that. So you can actually put it into the same one step as you send your emails with, and you can actually send those push notifications out to the tech. So they can get push notifications. It's a little, most customers are already using emails. So a lot of times what they do is they just put a link to the mobile client in the email so they can just tap it. But we can do push notifications. And then you would only, in that case, you'd probably only send a push notification if you had a high priority incident you wanted the tech to take care of.
Okay, thank you. I do have a question about the cost of this particular app. I'll follow up individually with anyone who would like to see a personalized quote. It is a SaaS offering, and it lines up to your current Cherwell license count to account for scale. So it's designed to be a really small percentage of your overall investment in Cherwell. So our count will match your Cherwell license count. Now, there is no professional service fees. It's very quick and easy for us to set up. So we don't charge any services fees for that initial install implementation. Also, any configuration is so quick, we just do it for free initially and down the road as well. So the only cost you'll incur is actually the SaaS licensing itself. And because it is a really free and easy setup, we also offer a free trial. So for anyone who might be interested in taking a hands-on look with this connected to your environment, your data, we do offer a free trial and is very fast to set up. So please do reach out if that's something you're interested in. As well, if you want that personalized quote to see exactly what it would cost for your organization, you can email me or you can put a note in the chat. I'll leave the chat open for an extra 10 minutes in case anyone has follow-up questions or would like us to follow up for one-on-one conversations after the fact as well. I do have a question on how long is the free trial. Eric, do you want to explain our current situation for that?
Yeah, the trial, we say 30 days, but it's pretty much as long as you need to make a decision. So we'll hook it up to your test system and you can play with it as much as you want. And normally by the time we're done with the trial, the system's configured and works exactly how the customer wants. So when they do decide to buy and go live, we just flip the switch and hook the trial up to their production and they're ready to go. And you do get 2 instances, or you can have 3 if you want, but most companies have a test and a production, and you can move code between the two.
Okay, we kind of touched on how long the setup and connection is with Cherwell. I mentioned just really quick on our side. Eric, can you kind of describe how that works with us and what we need from the clients and so forth to describe what they can realistically expect? It's short on our side, but there is some connection work on the client side.
Yeah, so if you're hosted with Cherwell, it's really simple. We can connect this. We can give you a site in less than an hour, like in 10 minutes. We need a REST API key and a Cherwell login usually to go in and test. Now, a lot of times our out-of-the-box implementation doesn't work with the customers 100% because they've got custom fields and maybe custom workflow. So we usually spend an hour or 2 going in and making changes to make that work. So normally a customer, once they play with it, we might have 2 or 3 sessions with them where we make changes and walk through. So typically from start to finish, we're looking at 1 to 2 months for how long it takes. But on our side, we're generally only working 2 or 3 hours worth of time. And it's just a lot of testing and rolling out to pilot groups. And it depends on the customers. We've had some customers go live basically in a day. But it generally takes a little bit longer depending on the customer and how much testing they want to do, and if they roll it out to a pilot group first, or if they roll out to everybody, and then if they go live with maybe incident but then roll in change and something later on. So it can take some time, but it's more it's more on the business and their process and getting it rolled out than it is on our side. We can set these sites up really fast and make them work in an hour long phone conversation. So I did want to quick show some of the stuff we're doing with the adaptive cards. So on the left, we've got the Teams SmartBot that's coming out, and we're using adaptive cards for those. So for example, we have an adaptive card designer in our framework that you can really easily do these cards. The SmartBot is kind of smart. So he does things like he can answer questions. So like reset my password. So we're using Lewis, which is an Azure language. So here's a request password reset, see my approval. So whatever you type in there, the SmartBot's going and looking into Cherwell to see what matches that. And here's my approvals. I can look at those. So I can approve or deny from here. Same thing with the incidents. I can add a note or resolve an incident from here. And you can search your knowledge base. Let's see what terminal server brings back here. I don't know what I've loaded into the system. Oh, it actually wants me to Oracle. So there must not be anything for terminal server in here, but can answer questions out of the knowledge base, and it returns it all in this adaptive card. The other thing we're doing is this actionable message cards. So these you actually send out from Cherwell, but you can design the card in our framework, basically. So you just look at your, like for a survey, you would just look at your survey module and design the form in our framework, and then you can copy paste the JSON into the email for Cherwell, and then you actually work on the survey like inside so this is an email that Cherwell sent me. So I can fill out the dates here, and then I can submit this from the email. So I don't have to send an email back. I don't have to go out to another link and fill this out. I'm actually submitting this from the email. It's really cool stuff. It's a Microsoft technology, only works with Office, unfortunately. If I forward this to somebody, they can't see the survey. I'm the only one that can answer it. I can't forward this on, and I can only do it once. And this will flow back through our framework and then back into Cherwell to update this survey record. You could do approvals from here. You could close tickets from this. You could do whatever you want. Whatever action you can set up in our framework, you can do against Cherwell with this actual message card. So the only thing, much like the Teams integration, you have to be on Teams in order to have the Teams integration. With this, you have to be on Outlook because it only works in Outlook. But some cool stuff that we're doing to work with Cherwell and Ivanti a little more, a little better, a little more efficiently.
And all these solutions will port over once the converged platform is available as well.
Right. Yep. They'll work with Ivanti's ISM solution soon, and then when this converged platform is ready, and they have an API, it will work with that. So whether you stay on Cherwell and use our mobile or bot or Kanban, or move to the converged platform, it won't matter. And if you're an existing customer, you can already upgrade Cherwell, and you don't have to worry about our solutions working. You don't even have to test them; they'll just work. Because Cherwell rarely changes its API. So if you go from 9.7.4 to 10.2, you don't need to worry about your mobile or your Kanban. It'll work the exact same way, unless you made changes behind the scenes in Cherwell. But if you just did the binary upgrade and didn't upgrade wholesale your content, our framework stuff will work. So. Any other questions out there, Laura? I know we're a little over, so we're probably losing people, but.
I don't see any other questions at this time. So Eric, if you want to pop up my email address, if you do think of any questions throughout the rest of the day, feel free to send an email my way and we'll be sure to get back to you. Again, we did record the session, so we'll be sending that out after it's had a chance to upload and convert. This should be within the next day or so. But thanks everyone for joining us today, and thanks Eric for walking us through everything. I hope this was really helpful, and we'd love to help you get a free trial set up as a next step if you're interested. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great afternoon.